Hello there. I'm going to run through a little presentation here of how you will access the Blackboard platform for the course support for the respiratory therapy classes. There are a number of things that you will be doing through Blackboard. You will be completing assignments, you will be taking tests, you will be submitting assignments, and gathering a lot of information, a lot of links to websites that are going to provide you support. Blackboard can be accessed from any computer or device that can access the internet. I would suggest that you not use Internet Explorer. There are some incompatibilities between Blackboard and Internet Explorer. One of the most serious being particularly tests where there are images or pictures that are included. They do not display if you are running Blackboard in Internet Explorer. They are fine in Mozilla Firefox, and there are some directions on the DMAC website of using, of accessing and downloading the Mozilla Firefox. It is a free web browser. The other one that works quite well is Google Chrome. So either of those are much more compatible with the Blackboard system than is Internet Explorer. So I'm going to start Mozilla Firefox here. And it's going to run through apparently a little bit of updating. And it will begin here. And I have it set up so that my home page is the DMAC home page, and there are two ways to access Blackboard. One is we can go up here to the upper right hand corner, click the login, and it brings up, and there's separate things for students and faculty and staff here. They all work the same. If I click webmail on any of these three, it takes me to the same place. If I click the web info system, it takes me to the same place. If I click access online courses, it takes me to the same place. So whether I click student or faculty, it'll take me to the same login page. And that page looks much like this. This is where you're going to log in. It has any announcements that might be system-wide or institution-wide that you would see before you log into the system. The other thing you can do to save a step, if you like, open the browser, and in this space type DMACC for Des Moines Area Community College .blackboard, and it's important that you spell these right, .com. And I can either hit enter or click the little arrow that was over here to the right of that. And either one of those brings me to the same login page. It says please enter your credentials and then click login. Your credentials will be the same login or username that you use for the DMAC network. So typically first initial of your first name, first letter of your middle name, then your last name, and depending on whether somebody previously has had those same letters, you may have a number that follows that. So mine is KEGEORGE. Your password will be again the same password that you have for network access. It was originally the last 4 digits of your DMAC ID, not your Social Security number, but the last 4 digits of your DMAC ID. And the first time you sign into the system, you'll be given the option, and should take the option, to change that password. So in here, you will type, if I can type and talk at the same time, which I have trouble doing, type your login and your password. You can either click on login or you can just hit the enter key. Either one will actually take you into Blackboard. It will bring up for you then the basic information in terms of the classes to which you have access over here on the right, and your list will likely be shorter than this because you won't have as many things. If you're brand new to Blackboard, you might want to look at some of these tutorials, might want to take a look at how to succeed. Etiquette and core rules are useful to look at. So let's say we want to look at the Intro to Respiratory Therapy class. I just place my cursor over it and click the left mouse button, or the left button on the mouse, and it brings up, first off, it'll bring up the announcements page. Some of the announcements, because my screen is going to look different than yours typically will. So to kind of show you more of what you're going to see, I'm going to switch into the student preview mode that's going to be much more of what you would see as you look at this. So it has a welcome message, it has some information about the first assignment, for the next assignment, talks about some videos that we'll see in just a moment. It has a link to a website that was created by a student when he was in the program. Has some videos and other things that may be of help to you. Talks a bit about the vocabulary assignments that we'll be talking about. Has some general information down here at the bottom. And from time to time, additional announcements will be added. Under syllabus here, it may say syllabus or it may say course description, depending on the course. I'm trying to get that standardized. But when you click that, it brings up a document here called the course description. You can click on that course description and it will bring up a Word file or a Word document. You receive this in written form. Here is that document in electronic format. You can click on the competencies here and it will bring up the college-wide competencies for the RCP 100 class, and goes through all the same information that we looked at in written format. And to get back to Blackboard, this is just in Word. This opened this up in Word. So if I click back on the icon down here in the bottom row, click back on the icon for Blackboard, it brings me back to this page that was kind of the access to that document. The actual course that we're dealing with is right over here, so the syllabus is still being displayed. It shows your instructor, has some information about me and about my background in respiratory therapy, so you can learn some things about me and the experiences I've had. It brings up a section for course content. We're going to skip that for now and come back to it. It will bring up a calendar here, and the calendar will show you over here any assignments that are due and the dates on which those assignments are going to be due. And you can, if we go here to, let's say, we're looking at Monday, September 8th, and we click on that, it says it's going to be vocabulary sheet number 1 is due at 5 p.m., anytime up to 5 p.m. on Monday the 8th of September. And if I wanted, I could click here and it would take me to that assignment. We'll see another way that we can get to that assignment later on. I can close that by hitting cancel or the little X that was up here in the right upper corner as well. So you'll see different days, different things are due. It will also show right here, it's showing that it has anything that's due both for the RCP 100 and the RCP 250 classes. Those are the only two that I have. You may have also RCP 240, and you might have chemistry or some other class that you're taking. But the calendar will show you things that are due and show you the dates on which they are due. Tools we'll get into later. The other main thing that you may want to work with is My Grades. If you click on My Grades, it will show you all of the things that are going to be graded within the class. Most of my classes, you're going to start and it has a group of dates, August 22, 25, 29, whatever. And some number over here to the right. So it shows that those items have been graded or are upcoming, meaning that grade hasn't been entered yet. These are basically the scores that a person achieves for class participation. So each day you'll receive a score. If you were there on time and you are engaged in the class. It's not grading you on number of times you speak up or anything, but you're engaged in the class and you stay for the entire class, you will generally receive 100%, 100 out of 100. If you are late, depending on how late you are, that score will be reduced by a certain amount. If you have to leave early for some reason, that may impact the score as well. If you are what I would call unengaged, busy with your texting or Facebook or whatever, again, that may impact your score. So those will all be down here. Then at the bottom of that, of all the days, that lists all the days that we have class during this semester, and there's an average. This is happening to show you that for this individual, which is in the student preview mode for me, but what you would see, this individual has a total score of 100%. The average for the entire class is a little less than that, 97.95, meaning that there are some individuals who have missed a day of class or got some score that was lower than 100%. So the average basically takes all those, adds them together, and divides it by the number of students in the class, which are 25. And the median score is kind of the score where half of the class is above, half of the class is below that. It sort of makes sense. The highest that you can get is 100, so it's showing that the median happens to be 100. There is here an elements quiz, elements of terminology quiz. In this case, that quiz has been graded. It tells you here it's been graded. There is a score posted. You could click on the elements quiz here, and it will take you to the quiz. It shows that this individual has actually taken the quiz twice. The first time on August 26th, they got 100%. They did it again on September 2nd and got a score of 92.5. So many of these quizzes will give you opportunities to take the quiz more than once. Again, it shows you up here at the top that it is due on the 5th of September, and there are 100 points possible. And it tells you that it's going to record, for grading purposes, record the highest attempt that the person made. I can click on the score here, in this case 92.5%. We take a look at that, and it will bring up the quiz. And it shows, in this case, shows all of the questions. And it says which of these refers to the liver. It said the selected answer was hepat, and the little green check mark here shows that I got that question correct. It doesn't show me what the correct answer was, other than the fact that I got it correct. And over here it shows the 2.2 out of 2.5, or excuse me, 2.5 out of 2.5 points. I got all of the credit that was available. If I continue to scroll down here, green check mark, whoops, here's a red X. So it says here, which is the meaning of erith? And it says I selected white, which was not correct. So I would have to go back and look at my elements of terminology and figure out what was the correct definition there. So again, I can scroll down and take a look, which refers to brain, cereb, and I can continue to scroll down and look at each of those. And somewhere down here there must be another one. Here, number 36, which of these refers to something as being present in the blood? It says I selected IA, and that was not correct. So again, looking at what would be the correct answer there. And another one here says which means right, and this person selected levo, which again was not correct. So it's either contra, ipsi, or dexter, and the person could look at that before they retake this test. This is a test that the person gets to an opportunity to retake for a higher score. This individual actually retook it and got a lower score. And there are reasons that may happen, but once you get 100%, other than for personal gain or for practice, there's probably not a value to retaking the test. So it shows me that I started it at on the 2nd of September at 2:39, and I submitted it on the 2nd of September at 2:44. So it only took me somewhere between 5 and 6 minutes to finish the test. So it appears I was probably kind of hurrying through it, and because of that may have picked some of the wrong answers. And you have longer than that to complete the test. If we go back here to my grades, I can directly go back to it here. I could potentially use the back button. So there are different ways that I can navigate around the site. The other thing I want to show you, if we go down here, it says vocabulary sheet number 1 has been submitted. It says underneath it's been submitted, has the yellow circle with an exclamation mark in it that indicates that it needs grading. So it's waiting for the instructor to grade that assignment. Down here we have the first assignment that the person submitted. They got 65 out of 100, and it shows here that there is another submission that has been submitted, another version of this, because again you have the opportunity to resubmit assignments. So it has been submitted another time and has not yet been graded. Now the difference you see here, it has this little conversation bubble. So the instructor provided some feedback to the student about this particular assignment. If I click on that, it opens a little window. It says you did not answer the items about the second year students' pictures at the end of the assignment, and a deduction of 25% was made for that. It also says the assignment was submitted late, so there's a negative 10% or a penalty of 10% for submitting it late. There's another assignment here, Basic Vitals 1, that has been graded, and the individual got 0 out of 0. Again, we can see the class average was 97, the median was 102. As you know, you can get a bonus for turning things in earlier, so at least well over half of the students did submit it early. If the median, which is that score that there are equal numbers of above and below, well, there's really nobody above 102%, but if the vast majority of people received 102%, that's what it will show. So again, you have the opportunity to resubmit the assignment. Generally there would be some sort of feedback here, again this conversation bubble, that isn't showing just simply because I didn't enter it on this, but normally you would have that, and that would show you what you really need to do differently to gain full credit for the assignment. So we get down here and it's got a number for weighted total that shouldn't be called weighted total. It should be something else, and that name will get changed, but that would generally be kind of in this area is where the person would get their overall percentage for the class. So would tell you in this case the person has 93.25% of all the points that have been available at this point in the course. There's some other items down here. You can see that this test wiseness has a green check mark, meaning it was completed. Generally those items that are below the course total, which is kind of course grade, is what this should be termed, so I will fix that, and that's what you would normally see here would be course grade, and it'll display both the percentage and a letter grade that corresponds with that percentage. And the minimum for an A is 93.3, and we are just slightly below that, so at this point in time this would receive a grade of A minus because we're not quite to 93.3. So that's kind of an overview of the My Grades and what information you can learn from that. There are a set of internet links that link you to some organizations that have a significant impact upon you as a respiratory therapist. There is a student handbook, and you can click on that and open the student handbook, and there we go. It has a picture of the building 24, obviously a time-lapse picture taken at night, and helps you to know a number of things that are important about the program. It has the program goals and standards. Kind of tells you what we're about. The three things that we had talked about as you were applying for the program: prepare respiratory therapy professionals, kind of two #1 goals: provide graduates the skills, attitudes, and knowledge needed to begin a successful career, and provide graduates the ability and desire to continue to learn following graduation. And you'll find a lot of useful information here in the student handbook. That is kind of a fluid document. Things will be added to it from time to time, so it's worth kind of checking back. Each of the Blackboard sites is going to have sample tests, which are basically tests from previous years. So here we have test #1 from 2012, test 1 from 2013. There's also a practice test that just is sort of to give you an idea of what the exams are going to look like. Keep in mind that test 1 from 2012 and 2013 may not be identical to each other in terms of the material that was covered, and they may not be the same units or groups of material that will be covered in the current class, because things change from year to year as we do that. These are ungraded. They are tests that you can take. So you go in and it kind of says there's a time limit of an hour. That really doesn't apply. You can kind of take as long as you want. Each of the questions is going to be delivered. It gives you kind of the description and the instructions that are displayed here, and kind of shows you the time that's remaining. If you click on question completion status, it shows that this test has 40 items. Right now they're all white because none of the items have been answered. So here it's got a question about one of the elements of medical terminology. What is the meaning of the element adden? And we're going to pick gland, and you just click in the circle to the left of it. You can tell it to save the answer, but if you click to go to the next question, which is the right caret or right arrow here by the question numbers, it will go to the next question, and then you'll see here question #1 now shows as gray, meaning that I have answered that item. So as I go through the test, if there are a lot of questions, you may want to close this box, not have it open all the time. So whatever is comfortable for you. And so this took me to question #2, what is meant by the acronym NPO. Nothing per Oz, or non per Oz, nothing by mouth. And I can negotiate my way through. When I get to the end of the questions, and I maybe skipped question 9 and 14 and 20 and 22 because I wanted to come back to those, they would still show as white. The others would all be gray. So I could just click and go directly to question #9 by putting my cursor on #9 and clicking it. You'll see the question #9 opens up. Blood pH lower than normal. We learned from one of our earlier things that something about the IA, but it wasn't just the IA that indicated this. And lower, pH goes down, is more acidic. So emia and acid, that seems reasonable. So again, I could go to question #10 and you'll see what we have. Now here is an image or a diagram, and if you were using Internet Explorer, it's likely that this picture wouldn't show up. So it says, in this case, what is the term that describes the area of the blood vessel indicated by the smaller area? So it's asking, what is this called here? And that is an aneurysm. So you can see again, the questions that I've answered show up as gray. Normally you would complete that test and submit it. We're just going to back out of it because this was just to kind of show you the various things that you can do. You'll have the current examinations. That will be the tests that you'll take during the semester. There are student photos here. both for you and your classmates, so we can bring up the photos that show the current students in the first year of the program. It helps us each get to know each other, remember who all of us are, and everybody complains they don't like their pictures, just sort of like a driver's license picture. It's not glamour shots. I'm not a highly skilled photographer. I do the best I can. You also have the second year students, so you can see who are the students that are 1 year ahead of you, and you can find their names, so that as you try to get to know these people and know some things about them, you can find them on here as well. Most of what you're going to deal with in working with this class is under course content, and there is another of these video presentation that gets into how to find and how to submit assignments. So kind of a quick overview of the Blackboard system and the things that you can do within Blackboard.